So I signed up for my first Hyrox race and somehow we are 64 days out. How did we even get here? Y'all, it is so crazy because it feels like this was something that I was just casually talking about. Then the sign up day came and now we're only 64 days out and my head is kind of exploding. Like, this is happening. This is real. I have a race day. I have 64 days to get my life together. But me signing up for this Hyrox race did not just come out of the blue somewhere. This has been a redemption story in the making, and I want to tell you guys all about it. I have been an athlete my entire life. If you've recently been following me on social media, you've seen that I've been powerlifting. You've seen that I started my running journey. But before my fitness journey, as you all know it today, I started off as a competitive swimmer. At 5, your girl was out there, okay, making moves. And as a swimmer, I was an endurance athlete. I was someone who was super disciplined. Like, looking back on my life, we were having 20-hour practice weeks at 11. Like, the world that I lived in was absolutely insane. And also, to compound upon that, me being a Black woman, I chose the one sport that Black people aren't supposed to be doing. Yeah. So as you can imagine, it was just this very regimented life, but also this very isolating life. And then it was also a life where there was just so much comparison, so much racism, so many eyes that were on you that just... it was just a hard space to be in. And as talented as I was, like, at a super young age, I'm talking about I was top 3 in the country in the events that I competed in. There was so much that I didn't have. I didn't have the tools to be able to actually be successful at that point in time, because even though I was naturally athletic and gifted, I didn't have the mental health resources. I didn't have the coping strategies. I didn't have the things necessary to just deal with everyday life. And that profoundly impacted my performance in the pool. My swimming career didn't end because I wasn't good enough, because I didn't have what it took. My swimming career ended because I had to choose self-preservation. There was no real mental health language. There was no community. At that point in time, I didn't even really have a relationship with God. And there was no way for me to process and deal with the things that I was carrying outside of the pool. And as hard as a decision as it was to quit something that I had such a love for, and honestly, such a huge goal, like, when I tell you I was the kid that at 4 years old, my dream was not to become a doctor or a lawyer. My dream was to go to the Olympics. And as hard as that decision was for me, I am so proud of younger me choosing myself and not allowing me to kill myself in the process of chasing this goal that I actually wasn't equipped for. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Life after sport was just so profoundly weird for me. It genuinely was just so complicated because I felt like such a failure. Like I mentioned, quitting swimming was not something that I inherently wanted to do just because I fell out of love with it. It was something that I had to choose to do to just be able to survive to the next day. And so I carried so much grief, so much resentment, so much just feeling like a failure, that wanting to swim, wanting to work out, wanting to take care of my body just became extremely hard for me. Adding another layer to that, I ended up getting my degree in exercise and sports science, which then led me to working in the fitness industry. And even deeper than that, I work in the aquatic industry. So I was constantly in and around the thing that was causing me so much pain. My fitness journey has been profoundly up and down over the last 4 years. But I finally feel as though I have settled into what it looks like to take care of me and myself and my body for sustainability. And I now am so grateful for the opportunity to start embarking upon this athletic journey once again. So I want to talk about how I even arrived at getting into Hyrox, because Hyrox is obviously very different from swimming, even though it has some common themes. In just like trying to pursue my own fitness journey, the thing that really stuck out to me at first was powerlifting. But I have to be honest with y'all, I got so attached to powerlifting because of my own insecurities. One of the things that I always struggled with growing up was body dysmorphia. And then on top of that, people always making comments about my body, especially being in a sport where you are kind of half naked and the color of my skin and the texture of my hair just did not align with what most people looked like in the sport. And so for me, powerlifting gave me power in a space in which I often felt very powerless. My love and attachment to it was birthed out of the insecurity of my body. I was someone that was pursuing a weight gain journey for a very long time. And, in just my education and knowledge, we know that lifting heavy is what gives you that thick aesthetic. It gives you the curves. It allows you to put on the muscle that you're looking for. And so much of my fitness journey was chasing aesthetics and just wanting to feel secure and powerful in who I was and showing up and moving my body again. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was such a struggle for me to transition from powerlifting being my main source of fitness to more of this hybrid athletic training, because it really forced me to face myself and why it was such a big attachment to powerlifting. But I did have to come to the realization that as hard as I could work at powerlifting, I genuinely just was not designed for it. And if I am somebody that is going to be chasing being an athlete again and competing, I want to be the best of the best, the top of the top, all right? The cream of the crop. Hashtag bars. But when I reflected back on who I was as a swimmer, y'all, I was far from a sprinter. If you are a swimmer, I did the mile, the 1,000, the 800, the 500, the 400 IM, the 200 butterfly. Like, I excelled at long distance events because I was somebody that not only had the mental perseverance and just like grit to be able to like grind things out, but my biological clock, my pacing was like clockwork. And so trying to do a sport like powerlifting, which leans so much more on the opposite of what I know my body to do, I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to perform at the level in which I always wanted to. So then began my journey of like, okay, well, what fits in? At the time, I could care less for running. And so the thought of like getting into marathons or getting into triathlons and things of that nature was like a no-go for me. But then my aunt actually started telling me about Hyrox, and I just started seeing it more on social media. And I was like, boom, that's it. That's the one for me. I think the thing that I really like about Hyrox is the fact that it blends strength and endurance. You have to be somebody who can go for, an hour to 90 minutes. You also have to be strong enough to be able to perform in the stations. And that tells me that actually I should let y'all know what Hyrox even is. So Hyrox is a competition that was birthed out of Europe in I think 2018 or 2019, that combines running and functional fitness. There's 8 different stations that are alternated with 8 1-kilometer runs. So it ends up being a total of 8 kilometers altogether in running. And then you have those 8 functional fitness stations that are things like you have your ski erg, your sled push, your sled pull. You have sandbag lunges, burpee broad jumps, farmer's carry, the rowing machine, and then wall balls. You run and then you do one of the stations. You run and then you do one of the stations. And the other thing that I really like about that is how dynamic it is. I think the thing that's hard for me to conceptualize about chasing running a marathon is the fact of it's just the same thing for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, however long it takes you to do it, versus Hyrox, the mental game that I'm able to play of okay, boom, run, do the ski erg, you're done. Boom, run, do the sled push, you're done. That sort of mindset allows me to really lock in. So as soon as I really got an understanding of what was going to be required for Hyrox, I was like, yeah, that's for your girl. Now, let's talk about the running. Okay, the running. Your girl initially started as a fish out of water, okay? But there was something that was just genuinely so beautiful about doing something that I was bad at. And growing up in an environment where people cared so much about my performance over the process to be able to get to the product, I only liked to do things that I was good at, that I could be excellent at, that I could be the best of the best at, because I felt like that is where my self-worth was tied to. Starting out on a journey of doing something that I was bad at, and it not being something that I had to do, no one was holding a gun to my head and telling me that I had to start running, is really just kind of comical to me, because I was the person that was like, I am never going to run a day in my life. Yeah, y'all can catch me with a strong little power walk, but a run, baby, the way that these knees, ankles, hips, all that is set up, And now here I am, casually, running 10Ks and 5Ks and things of that nature in preparation for this race. And it has just been such a beautiful journey of really building my relationship with God in a new way, because I have truly had to rely on him as the source of my strength, because it's not something that I'm good at. It's really teaching me, what does endurance look like in life? What does choosing to suffer look like in life? Because it's teaching me how to stay steadfast instead of quitting just because I don't enjoy it, or I'm not the fastest, or I'm not the best at it. So I'm super excited to be going on this Hyrox journey, because it feels like such a full circle moment. I am finally coming back to the identity that I spoke as a child of becoming this professional level athlete, and now having the tools necessary to be able to go on this journey in a way in which I can not only see success, but enjoy the process while doing it. Not only do I have the tools in terms of coping with my mental health and coping with life, but I have my relationship with God. I am working on building community in this space. And I even know how to, or I'll say it, I'm even learning how to train sustainably in this new hybrid format. So as much as my goal in all of this is to become the first Black Hyrox world champion, I'm not chasing a title. I'm not chasing, a bag. I'm not chasing all of these sorts of things. It's really me getting the opportunity to return to a version of myself that I knew was always possible, but that my environment killed. And even bigger than that, my mission within this journey of Hyrox is so multifaceted. I think the biggest thing that I really want to do is blend the worlds of faith and fitness. I am someone that is such a firm believer that fitness is such a huge form of discipleship, is such a huge form of stewardship when it comes to our bodies. And I want to bring Jesus back into a space where self-idolatry and what I can do is so prevalent. I want to spread the gospel through my journey, because y'all, when I tell you, it is nothing but God. Okay, that I am even here being able to compete at the level in which I intend to do so. But in alignment with that, I also want to show up as a Black woman in a space in which there aren't a lot of people who look like me. I want to be that representation. I want to be that role model. I want to be that person that someone can look at and say hey, I see myself in this person, in her story. And if she can do something that is hard, something that she's not good at, something that seems like it is impossible, then I can too. I want the opportunity to be everything that I needed as a young athlete coming up. And I'm so excited to not only be going on this journey of becoming a professional athlete, but going on this journey of becoming who God has always called me to be. So yeah, that is where I am at. This YouTube page is going to be taking a little bit of a turn. I'll be honest, I was not the most consistent in 2025 when it came to this YouTube channel. And I think it really was centered around me trying to understand, who I was trying to be, what were my goals, what was I really going to focus on in my own life, and then allowing that to filter what comes here. And now that I really do have a focused lens on what my life looks like, I can now document that and share that with you. If you have gotten to this point in the video, I want you to drop this emoji down in the comments so that I know that you are tapped in, that you are locked in with me. Because if you're here right now, you are at the start of the journey, and that excites me more than anything. Yes, this is a journey of me becoming the first Black Hyrox world champion, but it is a journey of becoming the woman that I was always meant to be. And I want us to be able to go on these journeys of living our best lives together. So if you are willing to walk through this journey with me, if you are willing to sit at the high of highs, the low of lows, to be in the process and in the nitty gritty with me, I would be honored to have you walk alongside me. So if you're ready to lock in, I'm gonna need you to subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop a comment with that emoji, like the video, and share this with someone else who might resonate with this story. And most importantly, y'all pray for me. Pray for your girl, okay? I'm so excited for this transition and taking you guys on this journey with me. 2026 is gonna be a movie. 2026 is going to be the best year of our lives. I am 1,000% confident in that. So, we locked in, baby. I love y'all. Can't wait to see y'all next time. Bye!